participated in the Black Lives Matter March around the world, and today is a reminder that every single one of us can do everything that we can to end racism, and this means educating ourselves, supporting Black artists, locally Black-owned businesses, and supporting people behind Black Lives Matter. And then I was going to say, at this time, Deirdre, I would like to share.
I think that's more than enough.
More than enough? That's
Yeah.
too much.
I think that, and I don't need to say anything else. All it does is like kind of pivot to me, and there's like a black face, and talk about it some more. It was like, whoa, it's okay. So I think I'm okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm okay. So then we can just go into.
Okay.
I'm just proud.
Oh, come on in.
Everybody's
Do the
squishing a
same
little
thing.
bit.
Squeeze on in.
Squish the table.
Can they hear us?
Yeah.
Are we here? Oh, we're just all staring.
Hi! Welcome to a celebration of strength and resilience. Woo! Oh my goodness. I see that there's 49 people with us here today. Well, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that the land that we gather on is on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish peoples. This includes territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Today is a big day. Big day. I am beaming to see you all here, and I'm feeling super jazzed. Our whole Employment Power team here is excited to see you all. Throw a thumbs up in the YouTube live chat if you feel the same way. Hopefully they throw some thumbs up in the chat.
Hi. Woo. Hello.
All right.
Kate, Maggie.
That's you'll hear a voice on the side. Carissa, she'll be watching the YouTube live chats and giving little burst bites of what people are saying. So that voice is coming from somewhere, in case you're wondering where it's coming from. So hello, for those who may not know, my name is Christina, and I am the Executive Director and Co-founder of Employed Empower. For those who don't know, Employed Empower is an awesome registered charity that supports residents in Vancouver's downtown east side by providing access to development and entrepreneurial resources. I'm just still soaking in that this is happening right now. I have to take a breath and slow down my speech here. We are
Doing great, Christina.
We are so. This is different, talking to a computer screen, but I know that there's people behind there. You know, we are very overwhelmed in the best way possible to the response to this event. There had been over 100 RSVPs, I think 140 RSVPs to be exact. And this is, I really hope that tonight we can come together and challenge the stigma. I also wanted to acknowledge that today is a significant day, Juneteenth. Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day or Emancipation Day, is a day of remembrance, action, and celebration for Black lives. Juneteenth is meant to commemorate the end of slavery for America. It should be noted that even though Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which essentially declared that enslaved people from the Confederate state would be freed, this message never got to Texas until 2.5 years later, when the Civil War ended. And even then, newly freed people had no protection, no possessions, no land, and no formal education either. And so today, we really honor everyone who participated in the Black Lives Matter march around the world. And today is a reminder that every single one of us can do everything that we can every day to end racism. And this means educating ourselves, supporting Black artists, and local businesses that are owned by Black people, and supporting people in the Black Lives Matter movement as well. So I definitely wanted to take some time to honor that here today. So going into the event, one of the reasons why we're here today is to challenge the stigma. And before we even get into that, let's talk about what the stigma is. Because many of you who sign up on Eventbrite, you'll notice that there was a question that said, what are some of the most common stigmas that you've heard of in the downtown east side? And I have some of the responses here today that are anonymous that I want to take some time to read and share and just collaboratively discuss what the stigma of the downtown east side really is at this time. And so some of you have heard of stigmas such as it's a place that's very dangerous, and people in the community are often drug addicts, or that residents aren't employable, or people choose to be in the community, and that drugs are prevalent. And I must say, these are quite common stigmas that are often painted with the same stereotypical brush in the downtown east side. And today, from the bottom of my heart, I invite you to look beyond what the media portrays. And if you're willing to look, there's so much more. I'm telling you, there's strength, and there's resilience, and there's so much more. And I'm very, very keen to show you through 2 beautiful short films today. So these short films, I want to touch on that because that's important. One of the reasons why, well, I guess that's why we're here. But one of the reasons why these short films were made possible is because of Ash, who's going to, other side, slide into the
Other side.
I think he's on, this is the YouTube live cameras are backwards.
There he is.
So Ash here is, had really supported us with getting these short films up to speed, and he is a SFU communications officer who initially was an Employed Empower volunteer and reached out to us when we asked for some support with videography work, and he was the one who applied for something called the SFU Community Engagement Initiative that really gave us the funding to put these two short films into action. So Ash, did you want to share a bit about your experiences in this whole journey this past year?
Yes. Hello, my name is Ash. Yeah, so as Christina mentioned, I met her at an event a couple years ago and was very taken by the mission of Employed to Empower. So I did some volunteer work for them, and due to being a volunteer, I was on their volunteer email list. And in that email, which was the beginning of last year, she was asking for a few additional types of volunteer service, and one of them was to create some videos to help tell their story. And initially I thought that I might actually do that work, but because I have videography experience, but then I thought, okay, well, maybe there's another way of going about this. I work at SFU. I found out quite around the same time that there were some funds available for community engaged work through the Community Engagement Initiative. And so right away I was like, okay, that's great. That's what we're going to do. And so Christina and I worked together on the proposal. And during that time, which was a very interesting and beautiful timing of it all, is I also attended an event at Woodward's in which a manifesto called Research 101 was being launched. And this was an incredible project where many community groups and individuals from the downtown east side had come together to essentially create guidelines to school people on how to ethically create media in the downtown east side. There's been a unfortunate recurrence in which, whether it's photography, video, journalists, they essentially dive bomb into the downtown east side, get what they need, and they leave. And it's very disrespectful, and people in downtown east side feel very used, and so Research 101 is addressing that. And through it, it's something that everyone who's listening right now should check out. But just in synopsis, what it is it's talking about creating media and working with people in downtown east side in an ethical way. One of the key components of that is to actually build relationships. And so that became a key part of how we did everything with this project. Chaplin, our videographer, will speak in a bit, fully embraced it. She spent a lot of time with Deirdre and Sage before she even turned on the camera. And that actually brings us to today. So one of the other recommendations with Research 101 is to actually have a closing event, to have a community celebration so that everyone who's involved, their loved ones, their friends and family, can participate in the closing of all the work that was done and the time that everyone contributed. And so we had arranged for an event in April that didn't happen due to COVID, but then that's why we pivoted and we created this event tonight. So we're super, super stoked that this is happening. I'm sure we're also like, all of us are like nervous as all hell, but this is great. This is really fun that this is actually happening. A lot of work has been put into it, and we're super proud of everything. Really happy that even though it is virtual like this, that you can all have an opportunity to participate. You're actually participating right now, so thank you for being here. You'll have a chance to ask your questions of Deirdre and Sage at the end. We definitely, as Christina's already mentioned, encourage everyone to just keep commenting throughout. We'll be recording your comments and questions throughout, and we'll be sharing that throughout the event.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that, Ash. And it's really beautiful because it started from like a micro involvement with ETE, starting off as a volunteer, and now you kind of built up into like a macro engagement where we're sharing these stories to the community. So thank you so much, Ash. Our hearts go out to you right here. So, you know, definitely hearing some themes of collaboration and some efforts around funding as well. On that same note of funding, Implode Empower was able to host some large-scale events in the past to generate, to support with the fundraising. But to be honest, since COVID-19 had happened, we had experienced a bit of a derail, and right now the need is more than ever. And to be quite frank, for us to continue doing what we do, providing wholehearted long-term support to emerging entrepreneurs in the downtown east side, we really can't do without your help. And we'd be so deeply grateful if there's any donations, whether it's one-off or monthly, even if it's $5 or $10 a month. You might think that doesn't help, but it does. We are a local organization and every dollar counts. And even if right now financial donations don't make sense and it's not viable, your time and your talent is equally as valuable, and we have current volunteer opportunities on our website, so go check it out, share with your friends, and if you do have the capacity to donate, please do click the Canada Helps Canada Helps donation link in the YouTube live description. And another nugget that I'm going to share with you all is we see Implode Empower's success equally as important as the people in our program, and we will be sharing specific ways that you could support both Deirdre and Sage directly throughout the event. So stay focused and stay tuned in.
That's all in the.
Oh yeah, right. It's also in the it's also in the YouTube live description. Never mind, I blew my cover. So there's ways in there that you could see that you could directly support. But we'll get into the nitty-gritty later on. So regarding the event, let's talk about logistics for a little while. Well, not a little while, very, very short. We will first have our short film 1, which is called Deirdre's Story, and following that, it'll be short film number 2, which is Implode Empower Begins with Community, featuring Sage. I'm trying to move my hand to match the camera here, but it's not working. And following that, we're going to have a 7 p.m. cheer to really celebrate frontline workers and both Deirdre and Sage and everybody here today. And lastly, it will be a question and answer live, which the audience, you guys will have a chance to talk to us here on the other side of the computer. And so during the event, no joke, I am strongly encouraging you all to just get energetic in the YouTube live chat. Emojis, comments, love, support, just comment away. Let's make this feel as real as possible, because even though we can't see you, we'd love to feel your energy. And you're free to put some questions in there, but we won't be able to address them till the very end. But have no worries. Carissa, who is our community outreach volunteer and newest member of the Implode Empower family, will be watching. will be watching your YouTube live comments and be compiling them. And so please do get active. And this is probably already a given. I know I'm talking a lot, so bear with me. This is a given, but we ask for the comments to be respectful. Both Deirdre and Sage have been practiced emotional courage over the past year in sharing their stories with us and sharing their hearts with us, and we definitely want to honor that today here, in real life, kind of. And I think that's basically it for housekeeping. I wanted to address one last important thing here. Chaplin, who's our videographer, who stood boldly beside Deirdre and Sage in crafting the stories and just being a really good listener. As Ash mentioned before, we really wanted to make this experience one that took patience and time, and she took the time to really build a relationship with Deirdre and Sage before even, like Ash said, turning on her camera. So she didn't just come in and out. She really spent time, which I deeply respect. So Chaplin, I'd love for you to share how your experience was in making this film.
Okay, should I move forward?
Yeah, just a bit.
Okay. Well, I remember, let's see, we do go opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We kind of work backwards a little bit.
First meeting up with you and Ash and talking about the nature of the project and talking about the Research 101 manifesto. And so it was an inspiring opportunity. And I had done a kind of long project in the downtown east side, which I didn't expect it to be as long as it was, but part of it was really truly getting that. I didn't really have the right to be able to start to tell people's stories without really knowing them, and so we didn't. I was working with a harm reduction society called the Western Aboriginal Harm Reduction Society, and I learned from them that it's the trust is first, and it's like not really until we can consider you to be family that we will trust you to even capture our voice and put it out there, because we have to be able to know that we're going to be represented in our own voice. And so, that was the synergy when we got together. There was an understanding about why that's so important. And during that time that I worked on that project, close to a year long, I heard from a lot of people, and also being down there with a camera on a regular basis, even though I was with my group and with my crew, just how triggering it is for people that they would share that, it's like we feel like lab rats. People come down here, they say, oh, we're doing a film on this, on that, poverty, it's for blah, blah. We never get to see the results. They never show us what did they, I'm being filmed all the time. I'm not a movie star. I'm poor. I'm down here. I'm surviving. I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with, and people want to film me all the time. So a lot of people don't, even when they have good intentions, they don't realize how easy it is to exploit people who are vulnerable, who are marginalized, who are not necessarily well all the time. And like to take a camera and just have no background of understanding or a very little background of understanding, and to capture something, put their own spin on it, is really, really unfair, and it's really unethical. And so, I mean, this is the same, theme as Black Lives Matter and systemic racism. It's taking the effort to be educated and not be naive, and learn every opportunity that there is to learn, because people do, with the best of intentions, really do harm. So that was the note within which we started the project. And so I was grateful that Deirdre was like, sure, let's hang out, and you kind of begin this, they were up for the project of the film. And so then, the first time Deirdre and I met up, we went to a Canada Day Pride, right? And man, what a woman. We went to this concert, and next thing you know, she's just singing, and it's like, it takes time to get to know a person and to really see their many faces and the different moods and the different ways that they express themselves. And for me, it's, like trust is developed when there's a vulnerability that goes both ways. And I also shared myself with Deirdre and Sage. And Sage and I didn't spend as much time together. She wasn't as available, but also, I don't know if this was your experience, but in my experience, at that point, because there was so much relationship here, and you had an existing relationship with Christina and Deirdre to at least some extent, that it was probably easier for you to trust who I am, where I'm coming from, and the ability to hold your story. So it's like not even just the relationship between Deirdre and I, or Sage and I, but like our relationship as a community, and Ash included, and what we're committed to, and always, having it reflected through Employ to Empower in all the different things that Employ to Empower is up to. That, like, my experience was really like it was joining a family and becoming part of a family, and like I became part of Employ to Empower, and really that everyone, what that really came through its doors was uplifted, including myself. So yeah, that's what I would like to share about what this journey has been like. And and I also, just one last note, is I really do consider it a privilege to be able to take someone's story, their interview on camera, and like a very high level of responsibility to be the one who cutting it, decides what goes in, what goes out. I mean, Deirdre and I did an interview, like we did one, we did another one, which is very generous. And you know, like there's 3 hours and it's a 7-minute film. And so like I'm the one who actually has to pick and choose, but that picking and choosing comes from relationship. And it's not about everything that she's going to say in the moment. And she does trust me, and maybe she's going to say things that I'm just like, no, that's not going out to the world. We don't, you know?
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, but you knew that I would honor you.
Yeah,
And
that
I
was
would,
nice not
I
to
would
put
put
everything out
the
there.
highlights of your story. So, my commitment has been to have the subjects really focus on their resilience and the amazing people who they are. And I'm grateful for the opportunity to really be like connected in this community and be a part of this family. And it's ongoing because we're friends now, you know. So that's what's great, is it's also just gaining this connection and community.
Wow. If my heart was a guitar, it would have been all the chords were struck right now. You know, and thank you. That was so beautifully said, and I'm so glad that you feel like you're part of the family, because it's exactly the atmosphere that we're really trying to create, and for taking the time and compassion to really tell the stories in a way that's authentic and organic. So, Chaplain, thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Now, I am way beaming. I don't even know if that makes grammatical sense, but I am very excited.
Did you say grandma sense?
I said grammatical sense, but I am talking very fast.
I don't know, grandma doesn't make sense.
I am very, very excited to introduce Deirdre, who is a super talented rug hooker, fiber artist, big mental health advocate, and just all-around wholehearted human. So here she is, and we're transitioning into the part where we are sharing our first short film, Deirdre's Story. And Deirdre will share some themes about her video and some of the takeaways that she would like the audience to take away today.
All right, so the stigma is pretty much just a stigma about my mental health, and that art actually healed me. Having something to do that validated me and allowed me to be creative and be seen was awesome. So yeah, even today I went and put out "I Can't Breathe," a yarn bombing, and the whole time I've got Sam Cooke in the background singing, "There's gonna be a change. There's gonna be a change someday," and it was good because the protest was gonna be down by Sunset Beach, and I'm putting up "I Can't Breathe," and I'm feeling very good in my blackness and very good in my mental health. People coming up to me telling they had mental health issues as well, and I was like, here's my card, you should take my card. My whole story is about mental health. I know you're seeing my art right now, but here's my card, so have a good day. And we couldn't stop talking. She kept coming back and talking to me again, more about the art or more about Black Lives Matter. So there's a whole spectrum of things that we have stigmas about, and I'm glad we're challenging them all today. And you'll see that in my video. Through my art, I touch people and they touch me. It's more that it actually lifts my spirits than me actually healing anybody out there, because when I come home, I feel great. Like I feel I have to show my art. It's a disservice not to show my art to people and put up "Be Kind" with a heart. People need to see that more so. So enjoy the video. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Dee,
You're
for
welcome.
sharing that with us. And say no more. We're going to press play. Wait, Ash, 1 second. We're going to, again, you're going to hear me say this all day. Well, not for a couple hours, but I encourage you to just get lively in the YouTube live chat. Share the love. And immediately after the first short film, Chaplain will be leading a post-YouTube live chat commentary where we'll be sharing some of the comments that are being said in the YouTube live chat to Deirdre. So that'll be fun. Take some time to take a deep breath, and enjoy the first film. Now I'm ready, Abe. Now I'm ready, Ash.
Okay.
I'm Deirdre. I'm a fiber artist, and I'm here to make a difference in the world. I came into my work in downtown East Side because I had the opportunity to do a job that just took compassion. Didn't take much computer skills, and they were paying $25 an hour. So I was like, yeah. So I thought I could do this, and I did it. I did it really, really well. I put everything I had into it, but doing that, I got burned out because I put my heart and my soul and my energy into it, and I started to really care for these people. And even when I went home, I was even caring and thinking about them. When they died, I felt it. I did a lot of memorials for them. I also lost 13 people in 1 year, and I just didn't know how to deal with that. It was hard to go to work. It was really hard, so I had to leave. I had to leave because it wasn't doing me any good. I started to get isolated and alone, and I started to stay home a lot. Especially after I left the job, I started to stay home a lot, and I started to drink a lot, and I started to try to get rid of the pain. And I didn't feel need to go outside, because outside just was more pain. Couldn't even turn the door handle. I remember reaching for it a few times, never being able to really turn it. So, and yeah, I thought I need to get help for this. So I reached out to my doctor, because I told him I didn't have any joy. I hadn't laughed or felt good in over a year, and I was just going through the motions. And he medicated me, and I did that for a while, but I was still feeling suicidal. And they told me I had PTSD, so I had to deal with that. So I thought I would join a rug hooking group just to get me out again, or I need to leave the house. I need to be around people who are going to be kind to me. They told me my art was really good. I said, my art's really good? I draw stick people. How can my art be good? And they said it was good. The colors are amazing. You're taking all the faces and making them ethnic. It really moves me. Your art's good. It took me a while to believe that. I also joined a group that wanted me to talk about my mental illness.
When I first saw Deirdre, it was at an event called Beyond the Conversation. And it was an organization on a mission to end social isolation.
Being able to talk about your mental illness, it makes you feel like you're not carrying so much weight and that you're seen. You're no longer invisible. I said at the rally, here I am today telling you my story and how my art lifted me up and empowered me. It was wonderful to meet Christina, who approached me at this rally and asked me if they could help me to do my work and get my work out there, my rug hooking and my art.
She shared her desire to learn more about building exposure for her rugs and marketing, and I knew that we would love to collaborate with her. Employed Empower takes a compassion-focused, holistic, and practical approach to supporting residents in Vancouver's downtown Eastside community. We offer free access to development and entrepreneurial resources, so for instance, business mentorship and affordable microloans, and we just really want people to make it in the long run financially.
They've given me a space that people will listen to me. They've given me a studio space. They've given me a friendship as well, because they truly have my back and they mentor me. And with this, it has given me more strength and confidence to go and do what I need to do, such as more art or teach a class now. So I'm now teaching other people and trying to make their life happy. We're doing pom-poms. And we hung them all over my neighborhood park, which was really nice because people in the park saw me do it and they're like, way to go. And like everybody's following me, putting art up. So it was really empowering for me, for my friends in the park, for the people I was teaching. And so now I'm also going to teach a class in November, and I'm going to teach my own class and ask people to pay. So I'm teaching classes now. That's awesome. A friend of mine actually committed suicide 2 years ago, and that was when I thought I had to do my first yarn bombing. It's such a loss. So I've been putting up signs such as, be kind, I care, you're okay. I like people to have hope and not feel like it's the end, or they have to end it, or there's no way out. There's hope. And by putting these yarn bombings up that says you're not alone, maybe they can have just a little bit of hope. Just change their mind for that one day. Because who knows what could happen in one day, right? Everything could change. And I think my yarn bombing moves people in some way. You look back and you see color, you look back and you see yarn, you can feel it. And it's all through crocheting and a chain link fence. Yeah. My next endeavor now, which I've been doing, is making hearts from my rug hooking. So I make a big heart for people, but what I'm asking them to do is give me the clothing of those in their family who have passed on. And I take the fabric now and I put it through the burlap, and I make a heart for them. And this way they have a way of allowing the person to pass on, but still have a bit of their clothing or something of them that's tangible, without keeping the whole closet full of clothes or keeping all these mementos. It's called my Heart of Honor, and I love doing it. It feels good for me and it feels good for them. I just feel very grateful and very unstoppable. You know, my art, from something so small, like rug hooking and yarn bombing and crocheting, I'm able to be published. This is big. I would have never thought this. You know, my father died in 2016, my mother died in 2017, and in 2019, out of all that depression I had in those 2-3 years, I'm now doing art in the museum. I'm now publishing my work in Rug Hooking Magazine International. I never would have imagined that. Never would have imagined that. So I want to inspire others, because your art can be therapy and it can totally heal you. It can take you through so much if you just draw it all down, or if you could play it all out. It can really get you through. Today, with my work and all I've done, and all that I carried on my shoulders, I got through all that, and I'm coming out the other end, and I am a person of value. I feel I can do it, I can do it, and I'm worthy of it. So that's how I see my future, is doing more great things with my art.
There we go. We're good.
Okay. So thank you everyone for watching, and thank you Deirdre for sharing your story with us. So inspiring, you know, a story of incredible resilience and just, you know, being able to be a part of witnessing it and sharing it.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks, Jacqueline.
Yeah.
Thank you. I see you all enjoyed it. I can read the comments.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna share some of the comments from the YouTube live. Before I do that, was there anything that you wanted to add or share after seeing the video again?
You know, I've seen this video before. But every time I see it, I feel very encouraged myself. So, yeah, I like it. I like seeing it. It's good. Good work. Good work. I remember
Thank
the
you.
moments when I did some of those things. She said, just put your face up in the rain, let it fall on you and go around in circles. I was like, what?
No. She was in a reverie. I
Yeah,
just
yeah.
happened to be there and capture it.
It wasn't contrived. No. I always do that. Look up at the sky and turn around.
Yeah. Okay, so some of the comments, a lot of yes, Deirdre, thank you, Deirdre. Gorgeous designs, Deirdre from 9PCC.
Mhm.
Selena says, beautiful smile, beautiful soul.
Yeah.
I love the pom-pom idea, so cute, from Maggie Lee. Sharon, I also love the pom-poms. Nicole says, I love your work. So
Hey,
beautiful.
Nicole, you made it.
Alex put a big heart up. I saw that. She says, beautiful idea. So nice. Love that. Touched my heart. So moved, Deirdre. You got it. This is amazing, from Amanda M.
Oh, Sorry.
And there's sorry, what?
I'm sorry.
Oh, from Kate. Okay. And there's a message here from Jill. You are a beautiful human being. I felt your warmth and caring come right through the video. I need one of your hearts in my bedroom so that I can see it every morning and feel your message. All right.
It's available.
And Kate says, Deirdre made me one of the most personal pieces of art I own. And I own a lot of art. She made me a heart of honor in memory of my mother. It is incredibly beautiful and unique. I can feel her energy every time I look at it.
Nice, Kate.
I'm
That's
laughing because
nice.
I'm going to start crying too.
I'm so glad you're doing this part.
It's incredibly beautiful and unique. Yeah, I can feel her energy every time I look at it. Deirdre said, Deirdre, you said you want to make a difference in the world, and I promise you, you made a difference in my world. Your art makes me laugh, cry, and smile. Keep creating, keep inspiring, keep dreaming. You're one of a kind.
Thanks, Kate.
Thanks, Kate, for that beautiful
Yeah.
comment.
Thank you.
Larissa says, thank you so much for sharing, Deirdre. That was absolutely beautiful. I could feel your warmth and vibrancy through the screen.
Oh, thanks.
Resilience.
I'm being
Thank
so
you for
humble.
sharing your story from Sonali. Thank you so much for those comments. You know, we really appreciate it, and we appreciate you being here for this event and really like tuning in and opening your hearts. Okay, so now we're going to move on.
I didn't get my act together. Okay.
My forearms.
Yeah.
And Carissa was typing all those comments down while you were commenting, so I applaud her for her very, very fast fingers as well. Wow, that was absolutely beautiful. Tk you for sharing those comments.
Thank you, everyone.
All a little emotional here. If you would like to continue supporting Deirdre's work, I'm going to tell you how now. Under the YouTube live description, you'll see a Google form in which you can place an order for Deirdre's work. And you can place an order and we'll take care of it and we'll mail it to you. I personally wanted to share this piece of art that I have. Ooh, wait, that's on the other side. Oh, okay, this way. This was made for in memory of my grandpa, and these are his pants.
Bring it closer.
Oh, closer. Oh, wait, sorry, this way. And so this is one of Deirdre's Hearts of Honors, and I see it every day, and like Kate, this is some of the work that she does. So
You said those are your grandpa's pants?
these are my grandpa's pants that she took and made it into the gray part here.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing is, I made a bigger one for her, which was this big, but I know she wanted to have something close to her grandfather that she could keep, because the other one was actually for her father. So now she's got a little bit of her grandfather here, and the father has the original piece. Because I knew he wouldn't let her walk around with this huge heart. So,
oh no! It took my dad a little while to put it up, but he put it up just a couple months ago, and it's there. It has a wall of its own, so it's beautiful. All right, okay. I am somewhat collected now, and now I'd like to introduce Sage. Y'all see Sage. We're all gonna do a little bit of rotation here. There's
Look
no,
at that, I'm in HD.
Yep.
Did my link send? Oh, why don't it send?
Can you
Send Deirdre's link. I don't know, I tried to send it. Technical difficulties. Texter Tony says, can you slow down for the older folk?
slow
Yeah.
down. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, we're good.
Oh, I'm good?
I'm just,
Okay.
we're still going.
Yeah, that's why I tried to whisper. We can't see ourselves. How are we supposed to talk? We can't see ourselves.
Okay. So now I'd like to introduce Sage Bullick, who is an ear maker, as you can see. a huge mental health advocate, and hopes that her ears can bring out connection and conversation amongst the community. And Sage will share some of her themes in the video and what she hopes for the audience to take away.
I think the main theme is about stigma and what it's like to, you know, struggle with this invisible illness and have mental health struggles. And there's just this stigma that you can't talk about mental illness like you can, like physical illness. And I kind of go into that a little bit more in the video, but it was nice and nerve-wracking to make a video, even right now, being on camera as
You're doing great.
You're
You're doing great.
So
Go
even just like having to do like an interview and stuff and be able to talk and kind of get my message out there, because like I like to write big paragraphs a lot, frequently, and I'm very long-winded. So I think it's nice to kind of try and transition more into actually speaking, because I feel like it's a little bit more of an accessible resource for people. You know, I'm a really strong reader, but not everybody wants to sit down and read like 2 paragraphs of stuff that I typed out. So I'm grateful to have the opportunity that I've had to be able to vocalize some of the things I've been going through and do things that I'm scared of.
That's good. Scared and you do it anyway, and there's bravery in that. So
yeah, you think you'll just be okay with it when they say just push through the fear, but no, the whole time you're freaking out. But you try to be like, I'm not freaking out. See, I'm fine. Like I do this every day. It's lies. It's all lies.
Well, they say having nerves means that you care.
Yes.
So, it means you care. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Sage, for the synopsis. We will be transitioning into Podium Power Begins with Community, featuring Sage. Again, show the love in the YouTube live chat. We've been seeing you guys are buzzing in there. This is really cool to kind of see the chats pop up, and it just feels like you're here with us. So let's continue doing that. And immediately following the second short film, Carissa will be leading the YouTube live comment, and we'll see you later. Talking too much now. She brought it because I live in unicorns, and
Okay.
I was just
Got
so,
the only pair of unicorns.
yeah,
I haven't
it's
made another pair
this
yet.
is exclusive.
Well, I spent the last 5 years like in and out of psych hospitals and rehabs. I've never really been like stable, and the one thing that's like been consistent has been my creativity and my art. Hi, I'm Sage, and I make ears, and I'm a mental health advocate.
I want to inspire others because your art can be therapy and it can totally heal you. Hi, I'm Deirdre. I'm a fiber artist, and I'm here to make a difference in the world.
Podium Power is a registered Canadian charity that offers long-term support to residents in the downtown east side. We do this by offering resources to development courses as well as entrepreneurship, and we really want people to make it in the long term, so we hope to provide people with the tools to help themselves in the long run, personally and economically. We had just got talking about, you know, her project over the years, and I remember just seeing her so passionate about like making these and how it helped us through her healing journey.
I feel like, you know, I can actually go somewhere with these ears, and it's not just like a fun hobby anymore. Like it's something I can be proud of, and that brings me closer to people.
With development, our goal is to empower self-confidence, and we do this by teaching, you know, basic business fundamental skills. Second, with entrepreneurship, is really providing a hand up in long-term sustainability. So what that looks like is mentorship and microloans for emerging artists in the community.
I have a mentor, a studio space. They've given me a space where they listen to me. They've given me empowerment. Like I really do feel strong that I can go and do many other things. I got tools and knowledge, and it's letting me grow.
And finally, with advocacy, we really want to raise awareness about the stigma in the community, and we do that through our events. So that's through the Vancouver Street Store and the Carver Project. So the concept of the street store began in South Africa, Cape Town. It was a free pop-up clothing store for people experiencing homelessness, and since their birth in 2011, they have opened it worldwide where anyone can host their own street store. So the Vancouver Street Store was founded in 2014, and it is a free outdoor pop-up shop for people experiencing homelessness, and they get to choose what they want and need at no cost
with dignity. Picture it as a big festival, food, haircuts, music, a hub for community connection in the downtown east side. After the Street Store initiative, we really saw the needs of the community, and it has evolved into Wood Empower since, where we work with people one-on-one. Our last cover project back in July, we had a chance to feature 3 of our amazing entrepreneurs. They got a chance to not only share their story in a non-judgmental space, but they had a chance to sell their artwork as well.
Bullick and Empower gave me an exhibit that I could actually talk about my mental illness as well as my art. And I was able to do that with other people. It was a collaboration of all of us talking, and we all got to share. And having someone else share, I was then enabled to share as well, because it meant I wasn't standing alone.
I deal with like a lot of anxiety, especially like social anxiety. And I never in a million years would have thought that I would be doing like public speaking event and, you know, have all the support that I did to do that, and like being scared and doing it anyway, you know, like it really makes me feel like a stronger person. And, you know, I've always wanted to like try and get my message out there. So I really appreciated having like a direct link into the community.
It's like a big gush of wind when we do this. It's like, and people are receptive to it. And yeah, it really makes me feel strong.
I really just want to make a difference in how the world and how social media, you know, responds to people that are going through, you know, mental disorders and things like that. You break your leg, you can talk about it. You break your brain, somehow there's a stigma that you can't talk about it. Like, it's like you gotta hide it. It's shameful, a secret. I want to see a world where, you know, that can become a part of casual conversation.
I would never have thought this like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was lying on my back, not leaving my house, not feeling any self-worth. My father died in 2016, my mother died in 2017, and in 2019, out of all that depression I had in those 2 or 3 years, I'm now doing art in the museum. This is big. I'm able to be published. This is big. It doesn't get any better than that. We just have to kind of reach out. I had to reach out to Christine and say yes.
I've got a support system and network for like the first time in my life, and I feel like I'm actually making measurable strides that are like consistent, and you know, like I'm making growth and progress, and like it's sticking.
Wait, is it playing now? Is it playing now?
Yeah, no, you're
Oh,
on,
you are?
you're
Oh,
on,
great.
you're on.
Still shivers every time I watch it. I watched it like 4 times. But just like, thank you so much, Sage. Like, I think what always gets me too is when you say, well, many things you say, but when you say, even though you don't want to do it, you still do it. And
Here I am.
and so just like, thank you so much for just sharing your mental health journey and your experiences, and just being, I'm gonna say it with just a badass about it. And yeah, let's see what the comments have to say from YouTube right now. Let's see. So we got, Kate says, Sage, your hair is absolutely gorgeous. Love the colors. There was many hearts. There was a lot of hearts. 0CMG060 says, Babu!
That's my boyfriend. I love you.
Amanda M says, "Go Sage!" I feel that on the long-winded writing. You're doing amazing.
Yeah.
Oh,
A lot.
and then Larissa, "Yay, Sage!" Big smiley face. Selena wants to know, what do your ears say?
Is this? Do we really want to? Okay. They say "piss baby," which has to do with 100 gex. Which I literally made a story on Facebook today saying, "What if someone says?" What if my ears say? What do I say? And lo and behold, here we go. So
That's okay.
band plug here, 100 gex. They're amazing. Check them out. It's weird.
No,
I made these for their concert, but I got canceled in May. So
Oh no!
I was like, it's gonna be mirrored. Nobody can read what they say anyway. But we'll still work it out.
People still want to
It's a
know.
band name?
It's a bad name, just what you say.
100 Gex is
Yeah.
a band name. Piss Baby has to do with it. It would take me like an hour to get it. I'm not gonna recite it. I made myself promise I wouldn't recite the beginning for Money Machine. Yeah, just Google 100 Gex Money Machine and listen to the intro, and you'll know why my ears say that.
Well, we love it. They all love it. What else does it say? Oh, Jody Bullock says, Sage! Yay! Loving this! So proud of you! Heart.
That's my mom.
Mama
Mama Sage.
It's so sweet. All right, what else to say? Sharon says, amazing to stand up to the fear and do it anyway. Well done. Alex says, so good. This inspired me. I have brain injury and struggle with mental health. You are inspiring, Deirdre and Sage. Oh, so nice. So many comments. Selena, that is courage. Alex, Sage, you are awesome. So many exclamation points. Maggie says, your confidence is shining through, Sage. P.S. Do you host makeup classes? Because, girl, your eyeshadow is popping. Hell yeah.
Nice.
Jody, your mom again, says, honey, the family's watching.
I'm glad you're watching, Mom.
Vanessa is sending big hugs and thank you for sharing. Oh, wow, there's so many. What is this one? Taryn says, Sage, I'm watching with your parents and Gigi right now. Will you make some grizzly bear ears?
I definitely could, yeah.
That's so sweet. All right, and last one, Amanda M. says, artists supporting artists. We love to see it. Haha, too good. Well, thank you so much, everybody. That's so amazing. Christina.
Oh, yeah, I'm here.
Hello.
Yeah, I eat
Hello.
there.
Did you have
May
anything
have.
else that you wanted to say afterwards?
No, like I'm sure it can cover some of it in the Q&A. I went on over 100 Gex, oh my goodness.
No, that's okay. That's good.
Well, definitely we are getting into the Q&A live where we'll be able to be more present and wholehearted, and where the audience will get a chance to talk to Deirdre and Sage. We've been talking at you for a long time. And let's take a pivot. It is 6:53.
Oh,
Which means
it's
that
time for, yeah.
but the cheer is at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
7 minutes away.
So
We are early and on schedule. Great.
Well, does anyone else have any questions out there? Or?
Comments, concerns? Or do you just want to hear
Well-
me talk about Gex for 7 minutes?
Well, I'm just thinking, like, as you're watching that video and kind of like seeing this video unfold over this past year, you know, what were some of the thoughts that were going on in your head, and any kind of post-video thoughts that you want to share with our audience today?
It's like fear factor. I had to confront my greatest fear. Audio, hearing myself back. Seeing myself on camera. And being like, oh wow, I was so awkward during that, but I sounded really articulate. Ooh. And then just being happy to see like a collaborative project like that we were part of, like getting to see how it actually came out. And it was a long time coming. Like I think we were just saying, when's the last time we even saw you? That was like last year.
Right.
Yeah.
This December.
Yeah.
Engaged Chaplain.
Yeah.
Or actually, it was December or January.
Well, I didn't see you after Christmas, did I?
That's the thing, is we finished right before Christmas, and then I haven't seen you since, because did you go to Mexico or something like that? Or am I crazy?
You went to Alberta,
Yeah.
and yeah,
And then you were gone for a bit,
and then I was gone, and then COVID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of cool to be able to finally see the final
Ooh.
product.
Amanda actually just has a really interesting question. She says, Sage and Deirdre, have you ever collaborated to make rug-hooked crocheted ears?
No.
That never crossed my mind, but
But we have collaborated, but not. I mean, collaborated on the cardboard project as well, where we each had our own.
that is a really cool idea, though. Like, if you could make, like, just, like, some fabric with rug hooking in it that I could turn into, like, the back of the ears or something. That's
There
actually,
she
like,
goes.
that's a really good... I've been experimenting a lot with, like, different fabrics and different sort of... Like, I've been dyeing my own fur and stuff like that, so the idea of, like, the texture.
But the fur really works, though.
Well, even for the inside, if you made, like, a little heart decal or something and put that in the inside.
That could be cool. Could be a collaboration and feature I'm not sure. I mean, it'll probably have like the inner side could show the crochet.
There's so many options. Not me to be sitting here.
That's a really good.
Good
suggestion,
idea.
though.
Yeah.
And also, Atif asked, Sage, what got you inspired to make ears?
Oh, I knew this one was coming, and I'm still not prepared. Honestly, ever since I was a kid, I've always had you can even ask my mom. She can probably comment in the thingy there. But I used to run around and pretend I was a cheetah, like on all fours, like all the time. Or I thought it was Pikachu. Like I've always had this obsession with cats and with like the fantasy. And then growing up and being really into like, anime, all my weebs out there, and I know as I got older, I really wanted to have ears that I could wear that were like similar to what I drew, and I could never find anything that matched kind of like what I saw in my head, so I started making my own. And I actually developed my pattern technique while I was in the hospital. I would make them out of paper, and once I got kind of a little bit more stable with access to like fur and stuff, I just adopted the pattern to actual stuff, and then people kept saying they wanted to buy them, so I was like, okay. I guess I just want people to have the ears. The money is kind of secondary. Seeing someone light up when you give them a pair of ears, or you've created something that they're like, oh, I've had this idea and like I want this to be real, and then you made it real. Like that's the whole reason why I got into them, right?
It's interesting that you say that, because I feel as though it's something that you've always really enjoyed since you were a child. And can I ask like when you made your, like a follow-up question to that question, when you made your first pair of ears?
I should have brought them. One of my first pairs of ears I made probably around 4 years ago or something like that, kind of right before the multiple psych ward stays. I had like a real fur tail that broke apart, and I took all the pieces of this fur and like made these ears, but they were made out of like real fox fur, and I think that was the first time I ever made my own first pair of ears.
That's awesome. No, that's great. We can always imagine it. I think I'm seeing in the comments here about people asking about how they can, if they could, the link to your product and kind of like different ways to support you directly.
Well, right now, COVID kind of threw a wrench into my plans. Not only am I dealing with a lot of flare-ups with mental health, like a lot, I'm dealing with a lot of stuff that is unprecedented, which I think goes for everything that is happening around the world right now. Like, I don't think anybody knows what the F they're doing. So I have been taking on commissions, but there's not like a timeline on when I'll get like stuff done. Like the place where I get my fur right now is like, it's not closed, but you can't go in and browse stuff, and I like to be able to like feel the fur and all that stuff. So you can go either to my Instagram or my Facebook page. Both of them are at that chick with the ears, and you can kind of tell me what you want, and we can kind of talk about when, like, if I have the supplies on hand and like the ability to make it, I can make it, and you don't have to worry about payment or anything till later. Like, I have a few commissions that I've got backed up just sitting because I just want things to do right now. I just want to kill time, so I've been making them, and then I can ship them out when things kind of calm down a little bit. But anything that requires like a different color of fur, or maybe embellishments or something like that, that's something I'll have to do kind of later down the line when I figure out like what the world is doing, what I'm doing with my life.
So I think it'd probably be safe to say follow her journey and her story on Facebook and Instagram, and
Send me a message. We can
send her
talk
a message.
about
We'll
it.
talk. We're gonna head into our 7 p.m. cheer.
Intermission, 7 p.m. cheer, yeah.
Are
Yeah.
you coming?
So we need to make let everyone know that Christina's also really excited about shimmying. Not just cheering, but she really wants us all
Can
to
you
dance.
demonstrate?
And
I need to
actually,
demonstrate.
Can you
I need to
demonstrate?
demonstrate this.
I don't think I've ever shimmied.
You're leading this, by the way, Carissa.
Oh, okay.
So
where are we
7
at?
o'clock is a time where we are all cheering, and the intent is to really celebrate the frontline workers.
Woo!
And even everyone here today. So scream, shimmy, dance, do whatever you want.
Woo! Woo! Yeah! Woo! Woo! Yeah! Listen, you awake or
assistant.
That's good.
Oh, and I'm noticing a comment saying something about the link. If you go in the description below, like the YouTube thing, that's where all the links for everything
Yes.
are. Because I know we're all talking really fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great reminder. We made sure to put links to support Employ to Empower through their Canada Helps donation. You can do one time, you can do recurring. Sage's Facebook, Deirdre's Facebook. It's all there. So make sure you look there. But definitely, if you don't see it for some reason, or it's hard to see on your screen, just comment at us. All right.
Awesome. So, do you
I
want
need space.
space?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't have to move. I just like.
Okay. Awesome. So this is the time where the audience will get a chance to chat directly with Deirdre and Sage. So if there's any questions that you may have, please feel free to share them in the YouTube live chat. And we're excited to have a good discussion with you all.
How do you roll?
There's also a both section, so we have entry, a save, and both section.
Oh, okay, cool.
Maybe I'll split it to the side.
Okay.
Hang on, we'll just get this figured out here.
Give us 1 minute for technicalities. So let's start off with a
Screen.
first question.
Oh, Chris is removing the screen. Hang on.
Sorry.
Are they connected?
Oh, actually, we need to change
Thanks for your patience.
something.
We're just
Make it official. Q&A.
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 that was not us. Awesome. Okay, so the question for both, first question for both Deirdre and Sage is, oh, I can't see that. How can Alex support the
Assuming-
downtown east side? Probably practical different ways.
Well, for me, I focus it more on the stigma because it's not even just like how you speak about people in the downtown east side or like how you view them. It's also like how you think about them. You know, I think earlier we were talking about person first language instead of like junkie or drug addict. It's you know, person struggling with addiction or on their healing journey. You know, someone who's homeless, like someone experiencing homelessness right now, and even just kind of making that, like even someone like myself who's struggling with addiction and mental health, like I still use those kind of derogatory ways of describing things when I see other people or even when I'm talking about myself, but making that mental change I think helps a lot because what you think becomes what you speak, becomes what you do.
Right.
So I think like if you're not able to make, donations or actually kind of go downtown to the east side and actually, I guess physically apply yourself, it's like you can start as simple as changing how you think about those people, and then also talking to like your family members, anybody you see maybe online talking about these things and just doing your part to kind of educate.
I resonate what you say about person first language and being able to change the way we speak about people living in the East Side community, whether that means, if, instead of saying, drug users or addicts or junkies, or to replace it with people on the healing journey. And I think making adjustments to how you talk about people and the community is important. So thank you, Sage, for sharing that with us. Deirdre, what are some of your thoughts?
Oh boy, I had a whole bunch of thoughts. Like when I first came to Vancouver, I would always be petrified to walk down Hastings Street. Like I used to close my car door or, ride my bicycle really quickly on an adjacent street. And now I've realized that, I still really don't walk downtown East Side a lot. But even if you do, it's not so bad. It isn't, because I've walked there many a times and you see things, but I think the street smart thing's not always to make eye contact. Ironically, if you're seeing things in the alley, but sometimes people on the street is where you need to make the eye contact, right? You don't have to watch them doing drugs in their arm, but the next person who you might be walking on the street with, who looks at you or waiting at a corner trying to get into a bank or whatever, make the eye contact, give them a smile, because God knows people down there need someone to validate them and see them and smile at them. I did that today on my bike. I was riding on my bike. I went by, and before the bus just about came, there was a girl there. Big pink lipstick, blonde hair, cowboy hat. The lipstick was a bit distorted, but lots of eyelashes, and on the corner with shorts and the belt. And she thought she was all that, and I was like, whoa. But I smiled, and she smiled back, and then the bus went, and I could still see her through the window, still smiling. So I think we just need to kind of not have all those preconceived ideas, because even though she looked really whacked, that was the best that she was doing for the day.
Yeah.
And she looked good and felt good and gave me a smile, and I gave her a smile, and it's gone a long way, because now I'm telling you all about it. So it's gone a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I actually kind of want to piggyback off of that, because like I actually live on the downtown east side, and I remember when I first moved here, like I'm from Edmonton, Alberta. So if you've ever been in like the homeless areas of Edmonton, like it's kind of scary, and it's not how it is out here. Like it's so public, like seeing tent city, seeing people just like really open out there. I remember being like terrified, but my experience has been like a lot of them are like harmless and very kind people. I've had people give me gifts of art. I've had people just want genuine conversation. Like a lot of times they just want to be acknowledged as a person, you know, because they're still a person, even if they're, you know, doing something like you said, they look kind of whacked out and kind of scary. Like they're still people.
Yeah.
And even just making eye contact, and even like going out, like dressing how I do, people want to talk to me.
And so many times I want to take my eyes away from people like that.
Yeah.
You know, especially when sometimes I go down in the alleys and you see people doing things they're not supposed to. So of course you divert your eyes. But you know, people that you can see on downtown east side are just walking down the street. I don't think you need to divert your eyes.
Yeah.
I think you should probably look at them and validate them. And that's why I get in my art as well, validation.
Yeah.
No more stigma about seeing people and
Yeah.
perceiving. That's a stigma we work with mental health. You see people and perceive.
Mhm.
You see some down there in hot pants and distorted lipstick, and you perceive.
Yeah.
Right?
And the eye contact can be like this littlest thing that you can do to acknowledge someone. You know, you don't have to do some big thing, but even just making eye contact, a little head nod.
Head nod
can
works
mean
a lot.
Yeah.
Even the blacks
Absolutely.
among ourselves has a head nod.
Yeah.
Like, just
Instead of the awkward white person.
Try to imagine how you might feel if all day long people rushed by you, looked the other way, you know, just diverted their eyes all day long from you. And if you can put yourself in that position and realize we're all humans, we all have the same kind of feelings about acceptance and rejection and being judged, you know, and like that moment of just seeing someone really goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you. Eye contact, a smile, acknowledgement, really.
Hello.
Just
Yeah.
simple respect.
How are
so,
you?
Yeah.
Where are
Me
you
as a
from?
human,
What's your
I
name?
see you as a human.
And you get lots of people that have been trained to also divert their eyes because they don't want to make eye contact with you, walk down the street, because you might not see what you like to see, or
Right.
you might see the anger that's going on inside of me, or you might see my fear.
And you
So
might
a
be
lot
a
of
threat.
and so a lot of people just don't really make the eye contact. But by saying hi or giving a head nod, especially downtown inside, head nods go a long way. I get guys doing this all the time to me. I'm like, back to them, right? I think I did that today at the tennis course today to some guy. And he goes, what are you doing? I go, what are you doing? And it ended up being a conversation, right?
Awesome. Well, I think that's a good kind of wrap up for the first question. There's a second question on here from Kate Fenton. It's actually a really lovely question for both again. So the question goes, Deirdre and Sage, your stories are so inspiring. How do you each define resilience? And what are some ways you suggest to build one's resilience?
I can do this one first this time. So resilience is having a yarn bombing in my house that I want to put up, and I hold it there for like 2 weeks. I go to bed thinking, oh, tomorrow I'm going to put it up. And then tomorrow comes, and I'm like, no, I don't know. So then you keep holding on to it, and you keep getting ideas. And resilience, I think, in that is just that you finally do it because there's an occasion to do it. Or you find a moment of your life that things have changed. You just say, I got to go do this. I just got to go out and do this. Like today, I can't breathe. Why do you think I held on that for 2 weeks since this man has died? And I held on to it and go, I haven't got the courage to go put that out there. Who's going to want to see this? I'm not going to rip it down. It won't. No one's even going to want to know I can't breathe. That's really in people's face. And today they're having the march, and after the third march, I finally had to say to myself, you need to go down and put these words out for everybody else, not just for yourself. And that's resilience, having the strength to do things when you think you really shouldn't, you have no, you don't know what you're going to get, you're going into fear, and that's my resilience, doing things when an occasion comes and I just have to do it. Well, I know it's time.
Yeah.
It's time.
It's pushing
through
Pushing through.
Wow. No, that's
Yeah. And usually you end up pushing through alone, but that's okay. You just put some good music around it and do what you gotta do.
Yeah, music, 100%.
Some
Yeah.
uplifting music. I had Sam Cooke, a change, the world is going to change, or a change is going to come someday, a change is going to come. And I played that maybe 15 times while I was putting up the R probably. But it inspired me to keep putting up the I and the C and the A. And then the very end, I put breath. I saved the breath for last, or breathe for last. 'Cause I didn't want people to, and they were still saying, what's the I can't is all about? I'm like,
just sit here and wait.
if you
You'll see.
You can't what? Yeah. So.
Stay tuned. Resilience. Resilience to me looks more like looking back on my life and being like, wow, okay, I've really lived a life. Like every time I have a moment where, oh my God, I even had like literally a breakdown last night. Like I wrote this big thing on Facebook because I've been struggling a lot with like feeling suicidal. Like it's not just the things going on in my life, it's just everything happening in the world. It's kind of hitting at that core trauma of I'm helpless. There's nothing I can do to control what's happening around me. And I feel like this future I've kind of built, or the future that I thought the world was heading towards, is like gone. And it gets really hard to kind of, feel like there's any point. And I know for me anyway, it's more like the redundancy of it. It's like every time I get to that point of like, oh my God, I thought I had gotten my stuff together and that I had something to live for and that I had something I was working towards, and then it just gets destroyed. And kind of after I have those moments of, I'm done with this stuff, like I'm not gonna, but I kind of have, a couple minutes after that to think about it and be like, how many times in my life have I felt like that? There's been so many times where I felt like I can't go forward. I don't have the power for this. I don't have the strength for this. Like, there's no point. And somehow, even years later, I'm looking back being like, well, I got through that. And I'm probably going to get through this. And I've gotten through, 60 other times like that in my life. So resilience doesn't always look like, I'm powerful, I'm strong, I can do this. Sometimes it looks like breaking down and just letting yourself break down and just know that's kind of part of the process sometimes, Like I feel like there's a lot of that, I don't want to say toxic positivity, but you get a lot of people that are like, you always got to be happy, you got to just be positive, you got to just fight through this. But like sometimes it's okay to just break down and lay in your bed and cry and feel like nothing's worth it anymore, because once you process those emotions and let yourself feel that, that's when you have the space to breathe and kind of realistically look at things again and be like, you know what? Okay, I had my moment of crying and breaking down, or I can actually maybe look at it and be like, okay, I've gotten through this before, what can I change and work on right now? What can I control right now? I'm not going to look at grand scheme of the world and COVID and the fact that we're still fighting racism 400 years later. I'm just going to look at, okay, I can eat some food, I can take a nap, I can breathe, I can do that. And then you just kind of keep doing that minute by minute, and you can kind of go from there.
It's interesting that, to both responses, beautifully said, and I think some emerging themes around both what Deirdre and Sage are saying is, except for Deirdre, it's more so, you have something, you have the I can't breathe, and you want to do it, and it's been there for 2 weeks, and finally taking that extra push to go, and to me, that is strength. And for Sage, trusting that you can get through the breakdowns and through that you can get through the breakdowns as you have done it in the past, and being able to trust yourself. So that's also an important piece. We're gonna look at a different question for Deirdre, and this question is, what
This one or this one?
Either.
What?
How did your art therapy help with your mental health?
Yeah. How does art help with mental health? Well, how about I'm putting up art on a chain link fence at 5 o'clock on one of those October dark nights. You have to get everything up before 4:30 or something, right? Or the rain's gonna come with the hail and the sun's gonna come out. Right? Good old Vancouver. No. So I'm doing that, and someone walks by and asks me, "Oh, you're the one that does this?" And I say, "Yeah, I'm just putting another piece of art up." And they go, "Oh, wow!" And they start talking about their mental health. Guys, I'm doing this because my mental health, it validates me. I feel so good. I have all this depression, so I stay home and it gets me out of the house. That kind of conversation. And they go, "I have mental health issues too." And all of a sudden, you're talking with someone for about 40 minutes about mental health, and they're helping you do your yarn bombing, and you're telling them you can go to Raven Song, and you can go here, and don't forget to go here. And all of a sudden, you're like a therapist / yarn bomber on Broadway East, and with no hours and no couch, kind of thing, right? So yeah, so that's how I did it, and in turn, you feel like someone's listening to me, and I listen to them, and I feel good because I was helping them, and I'm doing art, and it just resonated about the art allows me to go out there and be seen. People are taking pictures of the art, and then they go, "Oh, did you do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." Never do I actually get in the picture. Sometimes they want me to get in the picture, which is even better. But, I think they're taking a picture of that, and all of a sudden they want to have a conversation with that, or with me.
With you.
Right?
The person behind me.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what happened again today. People having conversations with me, and I'm talking about my mental health, and I'm giving her my business card, and it's like, I
One
feel,
thing leading to another, right?
all because of the art.
Yep.
People saw me because of my art.
Yep. It's almost as if it's like a bridge towards human connection with your own community and your. I feel like it sounds like it's about uplifting others as well,
and that little part of that day can get me going for it's good for another couple of days or weeks or whatever, It gives me a long haul for the rest of the week.
Right.
Gives me stories.
Art just gives you something common to talk about, which I think is really helpful. Oh, make no, it's distracting. Oh. But I know what you mean. It's like you have this art and you can both talk about that, and it just breaks the ice.
Breaks a lot of ice.
Rather than just coming up and go, "Hi, I'm Sage. Do you want to hear about my trauma?" Right? It's a little bit easier to be like, "Hey, why do you make these vulnerable pieces of art?" Right?
Yeah, you can segue into trauma.
Yeah, you can segue into trauma. I'm gonna use that.
Thank you for sharing that. It's really beautiful, and so many people have seen your yarn bombing out there, and it really touches hearts.
Yeah, even just for 1 second, someone just instead of a smile upside down or sadness upside down or something, I don't know. Yeah, people get happy just for a moment. They have a smile.
Mm-hmm. So that's really great, and I think hold on. I'm trying to transition, but I've always been awkward with transitions. So I'm trying to get into a question for Sage from Megan Grant. Sage, it sounds like people come to you with ideas, but are you open to making ears without input?
I mean, I make ears without input all the time. That's how you end up with stuff. But when I take commissions, it's pretty much open floor. Most of the ears I make are for myself. And they can be pretty random or weird. It's kind of I don't even really think about them when I'm making them a lot of the time. I just sort of go I want them to be this color and this size, and then I go from there. And it kind of evolves. So I guess the input is only sort of you can give me a sketch, you can just be I just want it to be cat ears, and then just let me go nuts. I've done that before, and those are my favorite commissions because I don't have to worry about getting a bunch of specific supplies or meeting some really specific idea. I much rather prefer it when someone lets my creative I want to say dragon, but that's not right. Creative dragon run wild.
Well, it sounds like it's nice to have that flexibility.
The beast. You let the beast go.
No, for sure. It's nice to have that creative freedom to just work with a high level concept, right? So, awesome. Hope that answers your question.
This is an easy segue because it's also about art.
Ooh, okay. Well, in conjunction with the topic of art, Sharon Warren, for both Deirdre and Sage, sounds like your experience with Employment Power has been amazing. What advice might you give others who may be scared to put their own art forward into the world? It's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I get this a lot, but more about sort of like my style. People are always like, how do you just dress like that? Or how do you just like do that? And it sounds cliche, but literally just like don't worry about what other people are going to think. Like people are going to criticize it.
Yes.
It's not always going to be everybody's cup of tea, but putting your art out there, you know, secondary is that you can connect with other people and things like that. But first and foremost, it's about you and your healing and how it makes you feel. Like for me, getting my message out there, getting my art out there, being able to write my long blocks of text and have people say it helped them, like that to me heals me, you know. Getting my ears out there, wearing them outside and being like, I made these, I look like an anime character, it's great. That makes me feel really good. And then secondary is like, oh, that made someone smile. That little kid thinks I'm from, you know, a Disney princess. It's great. But that is kind of secondary. So don't put it out there trying to pander to what you think people will like or being nervous because you're worried how it's going to be receptive. Like, you will surprise yourself in how people are going to react to your art. And it's a gift to yourself and also to other people.
Yeah, so art is not mathematics or English or history. Art is just the freedom of your soul. So you just have to put that out there and put it on paper. Don't make it equal anything or be anything. You know, I do stick people, and I'm amazed people love my stick people. A circle, a triangle for the body, and two rectangles or like for the legs. You know, and it works. But it's the color and the things I put in it. Also, if you wanted to, I started backward. I did public work for the city of Richmond. So that meant lawyers, contracts, insurance. I went the wrong route. What you got to do is probably do smaller things like the downtown east side has a call for artists. Or you can go to something like a neighborhood small grant. They actually give out $500 to like everybody to do a neighborhood grant or the greenest kind of thing, like you can paint a road with one of your murals or something, and they give you $500 for that. So I would start small by going to the Vancouver Foundation, Vancouver Art Council, Vancouver Art. Just Google anything Vancouver that's small and do some art. Even now, they're doing all these murals. You can join a mural, the Vancouver East Murals or something
Mural
like that.
Fest.
Yeah, Mural Fest. Yeah, everywhere. People want your art. It's just a matter you got to put it out there and start small and then do art for the city.
Yeah. Just
start
post
small.
on your Instagram.
Make it for yourself.
Post on your Instagram
Put it out there.
and get
Yeah.
over that
Yeah.
initial like,
Yeah, the
Start with
the
paper, ears, and the psych board, then move on.
Well, definitely starting small. I mean, starting doesn't mean you have to do it all. Starting could just mean taking the first step, which is like Deirdre said, like start doing some research, look for some opportunities to get involved with, maybe volunteer even. And I feel as though it does take some courage and bravery to get it out there because it can be nerve-wracking too, right?
But even just making art for yourself, I think, should be the first step.
That's a good point.
Don't make it with like, I'm gonna put this out, people are gonna love it. Just like find what feels good to you and what you like. And then once you're comfortable with that, then you can put it out in the world. Because I know what it's like to put something out there that you don't think is to whatever standard you've like put on yourself. Don't stress about it. Don't even worry about putting it in the world. Just do art. Do art, period, please.
Sick people is good. I actually still draw sick people myself.
Seriously.
My mom always makes fun of me. She's like, you always draw these just circle bodies. There's like a circle for the body and 4 circles for the hands and the legs.
It works.
It works.
Art is less
I'm
about
publishing a magazine. It works.
art is less about the finished project and more about how it makes you feel, I think.
In light of art, there's a couple questions. One for Deirdre from Larissa Chen. Says, thank you for sharing your stories. Deirdre, I love what you shared about how art is healing. Do you remember how you felt upon this epiphany and how that influenced your work perspective since then?
Oh yeah, I'm sure I cried my eyes out. I think someone just really shook my hand and really said you thanked me, you saved me, or you helped me. And also people saying all the time when they see me, I saw your work. I'm like, oh. So there's been lots of epiphany. I don't think there was one like, moment where the sky opened up and that lightning thing comes down the sun and you're all glowed up and shiny like I am right now. But yeah. So it wasn't one of those, but I think it's a constant of having people kind of like turn back the car around and go, I had to come by again and tell you I saw your work way down there. It's awesome. And you're the one that does this. And I'm like, wow, yeah. People coming. So the epiphany happens ongoingly, but because it happens all the time, I know I'm worthy and I'm valued. People love the art. And so, yeah, there wasn't one big aha moment. Yeah.
Kind of happened organically
Yeah.
and through the love of people.
I mean, recognizing it too.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
people over and over, your art's good, your art's good. We want to video you and make a 8-minute documentary. Okay. That was the epiphany too, yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. And a little bit of a shift here. Danielle LaFrance. Question for both Deirdre and Sage. What do Deirdre and Sage think about what needs to be done to produce new ways of living towards a decapitalized society? Especially essentially a society where people's value and worth is a given.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a really great question.
Glad for the dollar bill, yeah.
No, Deirdre.
Change.
Yeah, change.
It's about change.
I know I need to put more yarn bobs with just the word change. I just think we need to recognize and validate each other. You need to see me and I need to see you. I love what's going on right now in COVID because I'm walking down the street and someone sees me from like 2 blocks away and they're already making room for me. It's awesome. I've never felt so validated my whole life. I get the whole sidewalk.
It's like you're shut down.
Yeah, so we should have more of this, of recognizing each other. Even when you come towards us on the sidewalk, we should just see each other. And I think that's the best thing because then it'll be more about humanity and caring and knowing your neighbor. Like even policing. I don't see why we can't even have community policing. I should be looking out for you and you should be looking out for you. And Fresh should be looking at the block and say, I saw somebody without calling a cop and go, hello, sir, how are you? We've seen you walk up and down the street several times. And I have a few friends here as well. Just in case you need the reinforcements, right?
Yeah.
But I think we should be able to take care of our own because we know each other. And we know who should be in our neighborhood, and we know, that we're all valued.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Who cares how much money you have in this capitalized country?
Seriously.
The capitalization. I'm like,
Kind of the human in me sees the human in you.
Yeah,
Let's look out for each other.
And money wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, to me it's always been about, I don't know, even getting into what I'm doing now, the whole idea of like selling my stuff for money still like rubs me wrong. Not because I don't think it's worth money. It's more like I remember my parents used to always say like, well, you can go to school and you can make money off your art. And I would always be like, why the F would I want to do that? Like, why does everything have to come down to money? Like,
I will tell you, because you have to buy the rent and then
like
the
everything in our society, like is just built around money and making an income, and
in the city.
a lot of the time, it takes like the fun out of me. Like if I charge too much for my ears, like I remember when I was at Shambhala and I had this duffel bag full of ears, right? People were like, oh, I love your ears. I'm like, oh yeah, well, like you want to check them out? I got more. Trying to hustle and sell them felt worse than it did when I would just give someone a pair, So I think in a society where the focus is less on what this person brings productivity and financial wise, more to like, okay, what role do you serve in society? Like what value do you bring that isn't like how hard you can work and how much money you can make? Because there's so much more.
It'd be nice to barter. Go back to barter system.
If you've ever been to a festival, that's what you do. You barter and like it works. You look at freaking
Can't
something.
spend paper dollars on the desert.
Literally, money, physical, tangible money is just a construct we've made up. It really is, and we can change the value of that if we really want to. Because there are plenty of people who are maybe, like myself, I'm on disability. I can't take care of myself in a lot of ways. Like I'm, several years behind trying to learn how to cook, clean. The idea of even moving out and having my own place is scary because, I'm on disability. That's like $800 a month. That's barely above the poverty line. And I know that I bring more value to the world. Like, I've brought more value with the things that I bring up and talk about on my social media, the ways I've been vulnerable and started a conversation, people will tell me that I've helped them, you know? Maybe I share something I learned in therapy and someone's like, wow, that never occurred to me. That to me has more value than any money I've ever made, honestly. This is actually kind of a hot topic. Me and you had a whole conversation about this. I really hate freaking money. I do. So, you know, defund the police, defund a lot of things. Can we just defund the world and just take money out of the equation? People have more value than what they can earn, you know?
I'm still digesting.
Yeah, sorry, it's always a lot.
Yeah.
No,
That's
it's
a very
worthwhile.
difficult question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're
coming.
coming.
Everything, get rid of it all.
Get rid
Yeah.
of money.
Can we
Yeah,
just
get
hard
rid of-
reset? Can we
I know,
just
who says
unplug,
that?
turn it off, turn
that'd
it
be
on
great,
again?
right?
We are coming near the end of our question and answer, and we have time for about one more question, and it is from Barbara Hay.
Hey, Barbara! That's my cousin in Florida. She stayed
Ah.
up.
Yay!
Oh my god!
Hi,
Barbara. This woman was like my mother. She guided me and taught me love when I didn't know what love was. So she wants you all to know that your family are the people that you make or you bring into your life. She is my cousin, so still family, but I brought her into my life and she brought me into hers. And I was like a daughter.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, thanks, Barbara. Hey, I'll read this one. Did Deirdre or say get professional help, or did you just find healing in your art? Oh, did we get professional help?
Yes.
Oh, that's right on the nose.
Yes.
Yes, we did. I had counseling. I had 10
Yeah.
sessions, and that's all the city would allow. That I got it through Vancouver Coastal Health, and they gave me 12 sessions, and actually she healed me in 12 sessions. She told me it wasn't my fault, so yeah, that's all she had to say. It wasn't my fault. Yeah.
I have gotten professional help the whole time, in and out of psych wards. Like, if you feel like you need a psych ward, go to a psych ward. There's no shame in that. Don't feel bad about it. Don't feel embarrassed. I mean, I'm not going to go on a whole tangent about what needs to change in terms of mental health help and especially psych wards, but it's kind of all the best you got right now, and it's not, it's not terrible. But it did help me at least get in connection with the resources I need. I'm still in therapy. I go to therapy, twice a week or every 2 weeks. I've been doing that for a few years. I've been in and out of therapy my whole life. I am on 3 different medications. I finally found, after much of my life trying different medications, I found the 3 that work for me. And as soon as I go off them for a couple weeks, I go crazy. And then I'm like, oh, wait, medication works. Yeah. It does. If I don't take them, I'm not. It keeps me more like this instead of like,
And I still have therapy. Every 2 weeks, I talk to someone and get counseling. Tell her I'm doing great. Tell her I'm having a good time. I'm doing some art. I felt really sad this week. So it's just really nice to have support. I've got support in my art, and I've got support in my physical, my mental health. And I work on the physical. But yeah, I got help. You need help. You need to get help.
The support network, whether that's professional or otherwise, like Employed to Empower, having good friends in your life, having maybe some medicinal assistance, having professional help like a therapist. If you have physical health issues, that too. It's important to have that. It's like a net. If you fall off a trapeze, instead of hitting the concrete, you're gonna hit a net. And that helps make it easier to bounce back up and kind of.
Don't try to do it alone.
Yes,
there you go.
That sums it right up.
It's like, your team might look different than Sage's team, my team, Deirdre's team. But the number one thing is don't try to do it alone. Find the people who are going to be a support system, who are going to listen to you as, someone who has value, as someone who deserves some love and attention and listening. And even if that's scary, at first to reach out and ask for help, it's the crucial number one step on the journey is don't do it alone. It's actually really dangerous.
Yes, it is.
To try to get through it on your own.
Because when you go it alone, sometimes you do alcohol, you try to do drugs, you try
alcohol,
to
suicide,
fill that pain
self-harm
that you've got going on, and you try to fill it with, other means.
And I think an overarching theme that after listening to you guys speak is, sometimes when you ask for help, people perceive it as a sign of weakness, but I truly believe it's a sign of strength. And
vulnerability is a superpower.
Yep, there we go. Just took the words out of my mouth. So,
What's the last question?
We have a last question here by Hallie Grayle. Haley. And Kaylee would like to know, Deirdre and Sage, what is the kindest thing that anyone has ever done for you?
You think about it.
That's a lot.
You go through a library of experiences.
There's a lot of things.
That's good.
I'll just say what I said earlier. When Barbara took me into her home, I was 16. I was 16 or 17, and I was just being 16 and 17, doing all the things I could do at 16 and 17, and no one could actually find out, you know. And and she took me into her house. She has 3 other daughters in the house, and it was like I was the big sister, and they were all like 5 years younger. And we go to church, and she introduced me to church. And I went to church before that, but I got to go with a whole bunch of people, and we got to get all dressed up and squeeze into like a car, and all the girls in the back and the adults in the front, you know. And it was like, wow, it's like a family. And then we get to get home from church, and there'd be dinner already cooked, like all the stuff that we just ate, right, was already being cooked. So it was like a real family, you know. And sometimes she'd have to reprimand me and say, you know, and sometimes I could go back home to my mom, which was like, you know, another 50 miles away. So I could always come out there, and it was like a sanctuary. And that's the kindest thing you can do to people when they think they've got no hope and they're not comfortable in where they're at. You can take them in or support them or have their back and influence them, whether it's, you know, I know religion's really out these days, but, you know, give them some kind of hope, whether it's through religion or your kindness or whatever. You know, you share. She shared her family, she shared her heart, and yeah. And she's my cousin. Right, and she's like my second cousin or something. Not she's my first cousin, but yeah, it was awesome. And I think I grew up, and I probably saved my life because I probably would have gotten to more things. Because I was hanging with people wearing lumber jackets, and your boots were untied, and you like, you know, you shuffle into everything, you know, nice and slow. See me, I want to be seen, but I'm gonna do it this way rather than do it this way with my art. And we all want to be seen and validated. So once again.
Such a beautiful story of, you know, when you thought that you had no one, she was there.
Yeah.
She was there and present for you, and that can be so
and
powerful.
she's someone I could respect because she has a 10 years on me or so I could have looked up to as a 16-year-old, right?
Right. Kind of having that role model.
Yeah.
With you by your side. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. How about you, Sage?
I honestly, like, off the top of my head, I can't think of, like, anything specific. So I'm going to talk more generally about a lot of the things that have changed in the last couple of years for me. And I think one of the kindest things, kind of like what you're saying about being seen and validated, like I've always been one for long-winded, I've always been very vocal about my opinion and the things that I, you know, like to say. My friend likes to call it aggressive vulnerability. It's a little bit aggro, a little bit intense. But just kind of seeing how it's been received lately, like I'm noticing a change in how people view mental illness and a lot of these issues. Like the stigma is slowly disappearing. People are a little bit more aware of things. People are a lot more accepting and tolerant and kind. And like I'm just seeing this shift happen to like when I used to write these sorts of things online when I was younger and people wouldn't like it. People were very... Like, I lost a lot of friends because I was, like, annoying. They were tired of me being annoying and always, you know, walls of text. To seeing it turn into, like, wow, you're really powerful and brave for saying that. Or I actually took something away from what you've said and has actually made an impact in my life. I've made a lot of friendships and connections through that. So I think the kindest thing anybody can really do is to look at someone and be like, hey, like, I see you. I hear you. I'm not going to judge you. Like, you're valid.
Did you just sneeze?
Yeah, kind of. I was getting distracted and looking at her artwork over there, so, yeah.
I see you, I hear you, I validate you.
Yeah.
3 very powerful phrases.
Everybody wants to be seen. Everyone wants to be heard. Everyone wants to feel like, you know, they have worth. Like, they have value and that other people see that. I mean, self-worth is great and all, but to have someone be like, hey, I see that you also have self-worth and, like, I'm agreeing with you, that feels pretty good.
Wow, that was a really beautiful way to transition into the closing of our event. I think we're peeking into the YouTube live chat comments now. What did he say?
Yes, there is a need for glow-in-the-dark fur. I agree. I really need it.
Wow.
Earlier someone asked about how they can help employee empower, like specifically donation. Can you resend them?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just gonna choose.
What an impactful Friday night. Thank you everyone here for choosing to be with us here on a Friday evening. That was meaningful dialogue, and I'm really moved and by the conversation that we had today, and for really this is a collective effort of how we're all here today. And I wanted to start off with some thank yous and close.
Someone just asked if it's recorded. Yes, once we're done with this live stream, you will be able to go back and watch it, so you can still share it after.
Yes, this will be recorded. Not to worry, you'll see all of my awkward twitches.
Yeah.
Let's see our shimmy.
All of our shimmyings, our dance moves, take note. So it really, I wanted to say, it really is through people like you who are here with us today that want to be part of the conversation and want to be a part of the change in the narrative of the downtown east side, and that's really important to acknowledge here. I wanted to start sharing some hype and love to the people here who are with us today. Carissa, it was I wanted to go individually and say, it really does take a team effort. You okay?
I'm in the phone.
Wait, okay, we're here. Let's start off with Deirdre and Sage for just, again, like, I'm gonna talk your ear off this whole night, but just from the bottom of my heart, truly, this is, guys, this is beautiful.
We're trying to be
day.
serious. Sorry, continue.
And it was because of your willingness and openness to give a piece of your heart to us and share your story with us that we're here today. And from the bottom of all of our hearts, one heartbeat for you and another heartbeat for you. Seriously.
Okay.
Take it.
I got it. I said okay.
I have an arrhythmia. I mean,
Yeah, I got a heart murmurs. This will come in handy.
You're welcome.
Great.
Ash for, once again, taking the time to find this opportunity for us and just being a really
Getting the
awesome,
grant.
getting the grant,
Get some money.
get that money.
Money sucks, but for now you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually though, like that's a good point. Money
Yeah.
sucks, but unfortunately it's a necessity. So
Yes.
we appreciate donations.
Yes, thank you for speaking for the organization, and even Chaplain for taking the time, countless dedication, effort, compassion, patience, and just helping us really paint this story in a way that's authentic and organic. So
Yeah.
my heart goes out to you.
Yeah,
Hope
you
you
made me
feel it.
look good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Turn my awkward ass into.
Carissa at the back here, she is the newest Empowered Empower family member, the newest community outreach coordinator, and she's just really been playing the Jill of all trades for the past few months, doing mentorship, taking care of YouTube Live, typing so fast when you guys are making comments on YouTube Live and transferring onto a sheet so we can see it. She's just been really supportive, and even in the short 2 months of time, has seriously made some impact, and I'm really proud to have you as part of the ETE family.
Thank you. But she's awesome, because even on her own time, she came out and encouraged me to do one of those Beyond bombings that I was holding on to forever and just couldn't put out. And we went to the community garden, and she came with me and put them out. So she's got my back.
She does.
She's got my back.
Got each other's backs here.
And we really gotta appreciate your photography poses.
Oh.
Yeah, she's like trying to take a candid pose. She's like, let me like let go.
And we're all trying not to be distracted on YouTube Live. Like,
we can't look at you.
yeah.
And thank you to you, Christina.
Ah, okay.
Because, what I would really like to acknowledge you for how much you care. Every detail, you care so much about Sage and Deirdre. You care about making an impact. You care about, making an impact in the community and in the world in terms of how people understand, people who are marginalized and dealing with mental health struggles. and it's really important to you, and it's just really a passion for you. Your heart is like bigger than this apartment building, and it's honestly, it's like truly honor
She
to
gave me some of her heart.
yeah, it's truly an honor to know you, and like thank you so much for really like bringing Employ to Empower into reality from your inspiration. Like you're a person who follows your heart, and none of us would be here without you. So thank you.
Thank you.
Truly glad I met you.
Yeah.
I feel like you're gonna really change the face of what we expect from a nonprofit organization.
Oh.
Yeah. You're gonna make me cry. Can you stop talking about it? We love you.
Thank you for the love. I don't know. My heart's just catching up right now.
Sorry, do you want your heartbeat back?
Yeah, I can take it back. I need it right now. But this is truly collective effort, and I'm trying not to be awkward when people say nice things to me, and I definitely appreciate it, and I'm grateful that you trust me to be a part of this journey. Definitely been up and down, and I really wanted to shift the way that charities work and making it a lot more personal and holistic and compassionate, and I'm just glad that you feel the same way, because sometimes I don't know. I just lead with the heart. I think that's kind of something that we all share here, and so thank you for that.
That's why it's called nonprofit, because it's with the heart.
Yeah.
There's no money involved. So what else are you doing it for? Yeah.
Well, I do want to extend love to some community partners out there. People, the media, who's really helped us push this event out to the broader community. Vancouver is awesome.
Yeah, Vancouver's awesome.
Justin, Megan, Liz, if you're
you for
watching,
that article.
I see you. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. That was great writing, and we got so many RSVPs from that article. It was fantastic. Thank you, Justin, Megan, and Liz, as well as Business in Vancouver, for sharing their event on their site and getting the word out. It's just really the advocacy and awareness that happens when you write an article like
Thanks,
that for
Jenny,
us.
for making that happen.
Yes, woo! And including the roster, which is I want to also thank the roster, who is a local clothing company who donated some really lovely sweaters with uplifting quotes on it for both Deirdre and Stage tonight. And 10% of the proceeds go to Beautiful
We're
Foundation.
both looking around like, where are the sweaters?
It's in the bathtub. Because I didn't want you guys to see it, and this house is kind of
Oh, they're
small.
hiding
I
presents like Easter.
It's hidden.
Okay.
Sorry, Taylor. I didn't want them to see it yet, but I'll take
both
pictures
just
and send
like-
to you.
Sweaters in June. Yay!
I'm always cold. I'm excited about it.
and so that's my thank yous, and I'd love for us to continue this conversation offline. The conversation around stigma, changing our language from to person first. It really, and what that could look like is, talk to your friends about it. If someone comes to you and says, "Oh, look at those hobos and bums," like, give them a different perspective. Don't be afraid to go in there and say, "Can I give you a different perspective?" Actually, there's more to that. It's not just what you see. And just really start that dialogue. And you never know where that could take you. Just like how Deirdre saw that smile from the girl with the cowboy outfit, and she's talking about it here today, and to an audience of 70 of you out there. So it really does make an impact to just start talking about it, and really carrying that conversation around challenging the stigma around the downtown east side, around mental health, and of course, if you have any questions about how you can continue supporting Employ to Empower for the long term, like I said before, it's really important that we need your support, with your financial support or time or talent, to help us continue what we do. And if you can donate at this time, you can click the Canada Helps link in the YouTube live description. I think I made an ask just now. And so I wanted to hand it over to Carissa for a moment. We've been talking at you a lot, and here's a little bit of a plot twist. The audience is now going to get a chance to talk to Deirdre and Sage in the form of cards.
Oh, that's what I was looking at. This. That's what I was looking at.
So in Eventbrite, some of you have had a chance to make some personal notes to Deirdre and Sage. And Deirdre and Sage have actually not read these before ever.
I didn't even know this was a part of it.
This is
This
not.
is a total
This was
surprise.
not in total. I know. I left it out
Gotcha.
perfectly. This is Carissa's idea. It's an extremely thoughtful gesture. I did not ask for that.
They're
Okay.
gonna be hung up on my
See, this is
wall.
what non-profit do. See the love?
So she
Alright.
designed these cards. You could show.
Oh my gosh.
So then she even, and it's all even from the names of the people who wrote
Yeah.
it. So
These are the
Wow.
Sorry.
There's so many. There's 100 and like.
these are your comments.
You want to make some? You want to share how
Do you
this
want me to
idea came about?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So one
Wait,
of the
kinda.
oh. Okay, there we go. So as you know, for those of you that are here, you are. Oh, thank you. Oh. You all RSVP'd, and part of the questions that were available were one of them. What is one or couple stigmas that you've heard of that linger in the downtown east side? And another one was like, is there anything that you would like to tell Deirdre or Sage? And apparently you all had something beautiful to say to Deirdre and Sage.
Many words.
And I was overwhelmed. I didn't know what to do with all of these comments, and I was like, I felt like the best way for them to really have it was just in the most personalized way, which was you personally wrote down all your beautiful comments that you thought about, and so I would like to just transfer that
Oh, wow.
and pass it on to them.
Thanks,
And-
guys.
yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thanks,
That's a big
Carissa.
stack.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what to do at this point, but I
Well,
really
you see,
give
yeah,
it
you
to them.
got, yeah,
Give it
yeah.
to you.
That's it. Yeah, you got like separated
Yeah, I
two
was like-
hands,
I was
two
like,
people.
you
Yeah.
And on the back of the card it says who it's from, so there's names.
Wow.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carissa, for this.
Yeah.
super
Oh, this
beautiful
is so
gesture.
pretty.
I got
This
so
is
much
so pretty.
Yeah.
If you guys want to read some out, that'd be. Kind of
Your courageous and resilience is incredibly honorable, and that's from Sula Heteras. Sula
Still
Heteras.
out there?
Who's Sula? Yeah. Thank you for your sharing this. I want to learn more and advocate myself. Educate myself, and that's Jacqueline Richards. That name sounds familiar. Yeah. I met Deirdre at Artscape Sunway a few months ago and was so amazed by her talent, and now I know who is doing all the yarn bombing in the neighborhood. Oh, Palo Qualiza. Palo Qualiza.
I think it's Paula from Groundswell.
Palo?
She's in the same floor as us.
Artscape. Oh, you guys went everywhere. Oh my, nice cars. They went everywhere, you guys.
Aww.
You are worthy of starting and running a successful business because you are a hardworking and intelligent woman. That was beautiful idea and art that the world needs to see. And that's from Kate. Oh, Kate. Oh, Kate. I'm not going to cry this time.
This one?
You inspire me to be a better person. You give me hope and confidence.
That's so cute.
Okay, I already saw this one, but keep up the great work. Our world needs more people like you. Guess what? Oh no, it's Shintang. Shintang. I know him. This is the kind of guy that came by with lemon tarts at 8 in the morning when we're doing a yarn bombing. And he's about 70, I'll say 65. But he's like, he's an older gentleman. And he came out and he was with us most of the morning. And he started putting the hearts and all this stuff on his clothes and taking pictures with us. So yeah, he's always been a supporter. Even some of the people around you doing acts and support.
I like this one. Thank you for seeing all humans as humans.
There you
Wow,
go.
And
That's
Allison
nice.
Dunner. Yeah.
Allison done it?
Yeah.
Thank you, Allison. Human to human. The head nod.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's nice. Yeah.
That's
Both
good.
of you women are inspirational. Your artwork is so creative and brings joy to the community. Keep rocking. And that's from Patricia Chow.
Patricia!
Yeah.
One of his friends.
Yeah, you guys wrote tons. Oh,
Seriously, there's
I
so
can read
many.
this one. Beautiful work, Scott Shaw.
It's one from my mom.
That's
There
Oh,
you
I'm so
go.
sorry.
Never give up and you're worth it. It's from my mom.
Aw.
Thank you, Miss Jody.
I love you, Mom.
Give you maybe a couple more. And because it's quite a bit.
I know.
Yeah, there's too many.
You
to go
inspire
through.
me to be a better person. You give me hope and confidence. Who's that? Ah, Christina. We get the people that's here, okay? Oh, your personality is infectious and your artwork is beautiful. Keep it up. Maggie Lee.
What's
We heard
up,
of-
Maggie?
Yeah, hi Maggie. You were here today.
These are
tonight.
longtime supporters of Bullick.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story and your heart, Elizabeth.
She was part of creating the Vancouver's Awesome article.
Oh, the article.
She submitted
Thank
the
you.
idea to the
Thank
writer.
you.
Awesome.
Thank you for seeing all humans as humans. That's Allison Donnett. Yeah, nice.
Well, aren't these cards these are all handmade cards by Carissa, who also happens to be an artist and a fitness coach and also an awesome human.
This is the
Not
art.
sure what
She's
she
a
doesn't
hype
do.
man.
This was
Hype
the
woman.
art I was looking at earlier, going, oh, look at that art.
I know. I was like,
And
is
then,
it-
and then you turn around and go, did you burp? I was like, no, I was laughing because I saw art. No,
I was
I
trying to
didn't.
hide it sneakily.
Did I?
No, it sounded like a burp. I was like, come on, we
No.
talked about not releasing gas on film.
I was being very happy to see
Awesome.
art. In
Well,
the
this was a
room.
really nice way to end the event.
Thank
with
you. This is
love.
awesome.
If there's any last words from Deirdre and Sage before we do an official closing.
Here's my last word.
Ah. Awesome. Thank you so
Yes,
much from the
thank you,
bottom of our
everyone.
hearts for tuning in. We will see you soon.
I'm
I
not
like
doing
video
no heart.
'cause then I can't see if anyone is judging me on video.
Oh, you need to be
You
judged.
know?
We want some
No.
hearts out there.
Yeah,
some
hearts.
likes.
I like
So,
that there's
yeah,
no
lots of-
judgment, just happiness.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to end the YouTube.
I don't have to make eye contact with anybody, which is
Thank
cool,
you,
right?
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Bye.
You keep waving till the camera
Yeah,
goes off, right?
bye.